In a small village surrounded by golden hills, everyone seemed busy, except Noah, a young man who spent his mornings watching others work. He believed success was a matter of luck, not effort. Yet something about that routine bothered him, a quiet voice asking, "What if luck never comes?" One day, an old carpenter named Matteo, known for turning simple pieces of wood into masterpieces, asked Noah to help him carry some planks to his workshop. The boy reluctantly agreed, only because the old man promised a small reward. He had no idea that this meeting would completely change his view of life. As they walked, Noah noticed the master's rough, calloused hands and wondered why someone so skilled still worked so hard. Matteo seemed to sense his thoughts and simply smiled. When they reached the workshop, he handed Noah a small, polished block of wood and said, "Keep this, boy. It could be the start of your fortune, if you know what to do with it." In the days that followed, Noah kept looking at the piece of wood on his table. It was light, plain, nothing special. He turned it over in his hands, imagining what he could do with it. He thought about selling it, trading it, or simply forgetting it. Deep down, he believed it was just an old man's joke. While others worked in the village, Noah spent his afternoons daydreaming. He pictured himself rich, surrounded by luxury and admiration, yet he never lifted a finger to make it happen. The block of wood seemed to mock him, a silent reminder of the effort he refused to make. Still, he couldn't bring himself to act. One day, tired of waiting for something magical to happen, Noah decided to visit Matteo again. He found the old man in his workshop, carefully carving a beautiful angel. The rhythmic sound of the chisel filled the air, and the young man stood frozen, mesmerized by the patient and precise movement of the master. Matteo noticed the boy's presence and, without stopping his work, said calmly, "The piece of wood I gave you, it's still the same, isn't it?" Noah, embarrassed, nodded. The old man put down his chisel and continued, "It only changes when someone chooses to work on it. Life is the same, my boy, nothing changes without effort." Those words echoed inside Noah. He looked around and saw dozens of unfinished sculptures, each representing hours of patience and dedication. For the first time, he realized that what he lacked wasn't talent, it was will. The old master invited him to try carving something simple, just to begin. With trembling hands, Noah held the chisel and hammer. The first strike was clumsy, the second just as awkward, but Matteo encouraged him with a calm smile. The wood resisted, but the sound of each strike began to change, as if something inside Noah was also being shaped, slowly, blow by blow. Days went by, and Noah began visiting the workshop every day. At first, his progress was slow. His hands ached, the tools felt too heavy, and every small mistake made him want to quit. But something within him had shifted, he no longer wanted to just dream. He wanted to see real results from his own work. Matteo watched in silence, correcting only what was necessary. There was no rush, no pressure, only patience and consistency. Noah learned that true growth comes through repetition, and that every failure is part of the path. Over time, he began to find joy in the simple act of working, something he had never known before. Months later, the piece of wood was no longer the same, and neither was Noah. In his hands, a small sculpture had taken shape, simple, yet beautiful. As he held it, he realized it was his first true achievement, born not from luck, but from effort. For the first time, he felt proud of himself. When Matteo saw the finished sculpture, he smiled with satisfaction. Now you understand what wealth truly is, don't you? Noah looked at his own hands, marked, strong, and full of life, and replied sincerely, I do, Master. True fortune doesn't come from gold or luck, but from what we're willing to build with patience and faith. From that day on, Noah began carving small pieces to sell at the village market. Each sale meant more than profit, it was a symbol of perseverance. Over time, his work became known, and people admired not only his art but also his humility and dedication. He had finally found his purpose. Years later, when the old master could no longer work, it was Noah who kept the workshop alive. The apprentice had become a master, not just in skill, but in spirit. And whenever he saw someone giving up too soon, he repeated the words that changed his life: nothing changes without effort. Work, and God will do the rest. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Inner Journey. Here, every fable reveals a new way to see life, while you improve your English in a simple and inspiring way. Leave a like, share this story with someone who needs motivation, and remember, true growth begins the moment you decide to take action.